All right, we're all set. You're all set, Jessica?
Yep.
Good evening, everybody in the gallery and those watching at home, and welcome to the September 2019 Manitowoc County Board of Supervisors monthly meeting. First up will be an invocation by Supervisor Wagner, followed by a pledge of allegiance to the flag. If everybody please rise.
Dear Lord, help us to be active participants at our county board meeting, motivated and willing to serve our county. Help us to weigh our decisions carefully and reach forward to the prosperity of our county for the benefit of our individual districts which we represent, as well as the county as a whole, so we can all stand proud in our continued progress. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Supervisor Wagner. Roll call is going around. 23 members are present. Supervisor Holschbach is excused, and Supervisor Hanson might or might not make it yet tonight, depending on how football practice goes. Okay. So we do have a quorum. Next up will be consideration and correction of our minutes from our August 20th, 2019 board meeting. Motion by Supervisor Gallagher, second by Supervisor Benke to approve those minutes. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, motion carried, and the minutes are approved. Additions or deletions to the agenda, I will turn it over to County Clerk Jessica Backus.
Under Roman numeral number 10, the discussion and possible action on proposed resolution approving requests for bids for sale of county real property, Hecker and Bebon property, has been removed. And then under Roman numeral number 12, item K2, a petition has been added for the Manitowoc County Ordinance text amendment.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Is there a motion to approve as amended? Motion by Supervisor Hoffman, second by Supervisor Swade. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, motion carried, and the agenda is approved. So we'll hop right into reports of county supervisors' offices and department directors. And if County Executive Ziegelbauer could join me at the podium up here, and we'll start out with the 4-H proclamation first. So Kevin, if you want to bring your troop up here, that'd be great. Good evening once again. Thank you for coming. And we have a proclamation here honoring 4-H Week. Whereas 4-H is one of the largest youth organizations in the United States, with more than 6 million youth involved in 4-H nationwide, and with 29,821 youth 4-H members and 13,814 youth and adult volunteers in Wisconsin, and 425 youth 4-H members and 148 volunteers in Manitowoc County. And whereas 4-H is where young people explore, learn, and discover in a safe environment and find their true passions, gain confidence, and give back to the community. And whereas 4-H has been helping youth and adults learn, grow, and work together for more than 100 years, it provides a community where young people learn leadership, citizenship, and life skills. And whereas Manitowoc County youth are able to learn individually and together by participating in all kinds of 4-H activities, events, and projects through Extension Manitowoc County programs. Now, therefore, Manitowoc County Executive Bob Ziegelbauer, County Board Chairperson Jim Bryan, and the Manitowoc County Board of Supervisors hereby declare October 6th through the 12th, 2019 as 4-H Week here in Manitowoc County, and urge the people of this community to become more aware of this special program and to join in recognizing the unique partnership between Manitowoc County and the Division of Extension, University of Wisconsin-Madison. There you go, Kevin. You'd like to introduce yourself or whatever you like.
Good evening. I'm Kevin Palmer. I'm the 4-H youth educator for Manitowoc County, and I'm here tonight with a couple of club members from Star Splitters 4-H Club. And before I turn it over to them, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the 4-H Club and how it got started. And about 9 years ago, I had a group of parents come to me and ask if they could be a 4-H club, because their children had just competed in the Rockets for Schools event in Sheboygan and placed first, which put them into a national competition. And that competition is run by NASA. And NASA required them to be a nonprofit. And they were just a homeschool group, so they needed to find a way to become a nonprofit. So becoming a 4-H club enabled them to do that. So they started that. And 9 years later, it's kind of interesting because this year their rocket team again qualified for national competition, and they put their application in. I think it was due today, actually, and hopefully that'll be accepted and they'll be able to do that again. But I have a couple of members here from the club. So the club, I thought it was just going to be a one-year thing, compete in a rocket event at the national level and be done. But they stuck together as a club and just kept doing it year after year, really focused on STEM activities. So two of the club members here tonight are Zach and Clara Geisler. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to them.
Hi. Okay, so like you said, my name's Zach.
I'm Clara. We are part of Star Splitters 4-H Club. We have been involved for 7 years, and we really focus on STEM activities, which we really love.
Our team promotes a lot of leadership skill building activities. One of the ways that we do this is at the end of each of our monthly meetings, we'll actually have a project. And this is led and run by some of the older members of our 4-H club. And these projects can go anywhere from building cars out of recycled material to learning more about bees to painting glasses. And while we're doing these projects, before and after, we'll be learning the science behind what we are currently doing. And I've actually had the privilege to be the vice president and president of this club. And it's definitely helped me a lot with my leadership skills, which has also in return helped me to be a better captain on the robotics team I'm on. We also help out our community a lot. Yep. All right. So we do a lot of community work. One of the major things we do is we do a bunch of donations.
For Encourage and Lakeshore Family and Friends. We also have put together for 2 years now a community garden, which we help plant, water, and we've really taken care of it. And they use it and they make meals for the community.
So it's nice to have projects like this because obviously the students learn a lot more about gardening than they would have prior. And we're planning on keeping this project going for years to come. Along with that, we also host a lot of workshops. One of the larger workshops that we host is a model rocket workshop. And the students from our club will help kids from our community that will come in, and we build little model rockets with them. So as they're going through the different steps on the instructions, we'll explain to them how each part works, how it's going together, what will all happen with it. And after all the kids have fully assembled their rockets, later on that weekend, we actually go over to the Two Rivers High School, and we're able to launch it in the back of their fields, and all the kids get to launch their model rockets and see how they turned out. One of the larger projects that we do, like you were talking about earlier, is the Rockets for Schools program. So each year for that, there are teams that consist of about 5 to 10 members on average. And at the beginning of the year, you decide, do we want to make a 6-foot rocket, or there's even a larger one, which you've done in years before, which is the 8-foot rocket. So after you've decided on this, you will then get a box of all the materials that you need for it. So you'll get your base, you'll get your nose cone, the payload tube. Then you get to start putting it together by sanding it down, putting in wood putty, epoxying it all up. And you learn a lot of skills through that alone. And while this is all happening, while you're building it, there's another section to it, which is the payload. So you have to do like a science project while the rocket is currently in the sky. So one year, we put a small computer in there and we hooked up a bunch of sensors to read like the density of the air up there, the moisture levels, the level of sunlight, to see if plants would grow better up in the sky than they would down on the ground. This year, not this, but like the year that we built this rocket was a little bit more simple, but still kind of complicated. The rockets actually land in Lake Michigan when they're coming down. So you can imagine if you put holes in the side of a rocket that need to get sensor inputs from outside, that water would spill in and might ruin some of the electronics. So our goal that year was, can we come up with a mechanism that just automatically closes up the tube. That way we don't get any water in there. We don't have to worry about anything getting damaged. So we put like an altimeter in there, and then as soon as it hit apogee, it actually all closed together, and the project worked perfectly. I think we got second place that year, if I'm correct. So that was really fun. And once you get it all built and set up, you get to go to the competition over in Sheboygan, which is at Blue Harbor. And there you get to meet teams from across the state and neighboring states. You get to present your payload idea to the judges there, and then obviously you get to launch the rockets that you made.
I've also made a lot of friends in 4-H and through entering my chickens in the fair.
And even though she enters chickens in the fair, we also enter other things. I've gone to state with my photography before, and I've also entered in things through baking, woodworking, and sewing.
I've also gone to state for my sewing, and I really like entering my chickens in the fair.
So we wouldn't have a lot of these opportunities to meet the friends we've met through this program or to learn the leadership skills that we have if it weren't for 4-H. So thank you guys for supporting it.
We really love it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, great programming, great programming. Kevin, and I admire the rocket because when I was back in 8th, 9th grade, we had a class when I was attending Washington Junior High School, but my top ones were about this big, and I saw that. The engines were like the size of a dime roll. Well, that's got to be the size of like about a little container. Well, that's even bigger, like a 16-ounce can of soda or beer. So wow, congratulations, enjoy. You guys are doing great. Next, if I have Sheriff Hargaway come up, that we have a proclamation for 2019 Crime Prevention Month. Good evening again, Sheriff. Thank you for coming. All right. Whereas the vitality of Manitowoc County, Wisconsin depends on how safe we keep our homes, neighborhoods, schools, workplaces, and community. And whereas crime and the fear of crime destroy our trust in others and in civic institutions, threatening Manitowoc County citizens' health, prosperity, and quality of life. And whereas people of all ages must be aware of what they can do to prevent themselves and their families, neighbors, and coworkers from being harmed by crime. And whereas people of all ages must be made aware of the dangers of technology crime and how they can protect themselves from becoming victims. And whereas the personal injury, financial loss, and community deterioration resulting from crime are intolerable and require investment from the whole community. And whereas crime prevention initiatives must include self-protection and security, but they must go beyond these to promote collaborative efforts to make neighborhoods safer for all ages and to develop positive opportunities for young people. And whereas adults must invest time, resources, and policy supporting effective prevention and intervention strategies for youth and teens must be engaged in driving crime from the County of Manitowoc. And whereas effective crime prevention programs excel because of partnerships among law enforcement, other government agencies, civic groups, schools, faith communities, businesses, and individuals as they help nurture communal responsibility and install pride. Now, therefore, we, Bob Ziegelbauer, Manitowoc County Executive, and Jim Bry, Manitowoc County Board Chairperson, along with the Manitowoc County Board of Supervisors, hereby proclaim October 2019 as Crime Prevention Month here in Manitowoc County, and urge all citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, and businesses to invest in the power of prevention and work together to make Manitowoc County a safer, stronger, more caring community. Here we go, Sheriff. Thank you very much for all your help. You're certainly welcome to speak.
Well, good evening, everyone. I do have to say, before getting started, the support that we've received from the community, especially in my short time in office, has been absolutely outstanding. If you see some of the things that go around the country, and then you look back at Manitowoc, Manitowoc is absolutely home. And I couldn't be more proud to serve as sheriff of this community and having the support of our county board doing that. So on behalf of law enforcement officers throughout the county, including the sheriff's office and the citizens of Manitowoc County, I would like to thank the Manitowoc County Board for recognizing October as Crime Prevention Month and making it a priority in our community. We are living in ever-changing times and must continually focus on the safety and well-being of our community. Crime prevention and awareness is of the utmost importance in keeping people safe. Crime can affect anyone at any time, and the best prevention is a community that is trusting of our law enforcement officers, but also our community working in collaboration and partnership with our law enforcement officers. So thank you for your continued support of law enforcement, victims, and the criminal justice system right here in Manitowoc County. We need the continued support of this governing body to effectively conduct our business and continue to make Manitowoc County a great place to live, work, and raise our families. Thank you.
And we thank you too, Sheriff. You've done an excellent job in your short term here so far, and you have a long way to go yet, but I think we all have faith in you and your department. You're doing a superb job. Thank you so much. Next, I should yell 4. I don't know if I should yell. Is that the proper golf term anymore? But I have a proclamation for the Roncalli Jets Division III State Golf Championship from last year. If Coach Hogg and the members want to come on up here, that'd be great. This happened last spring, but we finally got enough. We got them up here. I know things are hectic over the summer and things, and now with school back, not that it gets any less hectic with school coming on, but. Hello, Coach. Once again, thank you again. Yep. Thank you guys for coming. So, like I said, it's a proclamation honoring the Roncalli Jets Division III State Boys Golf Championship last spring. Whereas, upon defeating Abundant Life / Manitowoc County Day by 11 shots and Sheboygan Lutheran by 22 shots with an impressive score of 493 over 27 holes at University Ridge Golf Course in Madison, the Roncalli Boys Golf Team was crowned the 2019 WIAA State Boys Golf Division III champions. And whereas this is the second State Boys Golf Championship for Roncalli School in school history. And whereas under the expert leadership and guidance of Coach John Hogg, the team never lost confidence that they were going to bring home the championship even after a 2-hour rain delay and a shortened final round to 9 holes. And whereas with a fire lit within them, the dedicated and talented team of Ian Beringer, Will Falconer, Luke Pouts, Bryce Pouts, and Ethan Willis were up to the challenge to finish on top. And whereas the Roncalli Boys Golf Team perseverance and passion, along with individual skills and talent, formed a cohesive team that brought distinction and recognition to Manitowoc County and Roncalli High School. Now, therefore, Manitowoc County Executive Bob Ziegelbauer, Manitowoc County Board Chair Jim Bry, and the Manitowoc County Board of Supervisors hereby commend the Roncalli Boys Golf Team for their hard work and dedication to excellence. Job well done. Congratulations. You're certainly welcome to stay and introduce you.
Thank you very much. It was really a journey when we started the year last year. Our first 3 weeks of practice were inside Roncalli High School, hitting wiffle balls and putting in the computer lab because the weather was so bad. And by the time we got out to Branch, which is our practice facility, we already had 3 golf meets in. So it was a short practice session for us, but these guys really played good. They were champions right from day one. We won the conference, we won the regional meet, we won the sectional meet, and then we won state meet, like you said, by, I don't know, 15 or 16 strokes or whatever it was. But it was just amazing. And I'd like to recognize 4 of the players here. First on the left is Ethan Willis. Then we have Bryce Pouts and his brother Luke Pouts, and then Will Faulkner. So congratulations. And also Ian Beringer is right now on a golf scholarship at UWGB. So he was our leader last year. He did a great job. And we hope to get back to state again this year. We definitely have the talent to do it, so we'll see what happens. So thank you very much for letting us in. All right, thank you.
congratulations once again, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again in a couple of months. That'd be great. I do a quick story, of course. I always got a story. This past weekend, my employer, we always have an annual golf tournament, so we were there this year. I could have definitely used your guys' help. Although I did better than I have in the last 10 years of the tournaments, I certainly could have used all of your guys' help. But thank you very much for attending. And like I said, good luck in this year as well. All right, last but not least on the reports, I have myself, presentation of the items for the 2020 proposed county board budget. You all have a copy of it on your desk right there. It was submitted to County Executive Ziegelbauer, I think last week. Nothing much really has changed. The salary items line still remain the same, even though next April we'll be going back to, in a sense, no per diem for me, but the salary amounts will be the same. There were slight increases for some of the room and travel and stuff, obviously, because the hotel room's going up shortly. So I did talk with Todd Reckelberg, our county comptroller, and we figured in that small increase. The biggest increase is from the IS department, but that's not that I'm certainly not attacking the IS, but that's a charge based on the year before, and it fluctuates. Some years we barely pay anything, and this year we're paying a little bit more. So last year's budget was $139,375. This year I'm requesting $146,986. But the one thing I wanted to talk a little bit, and Jerry Neuser, our public works director / IS director and partner as well. He's been very helpful and cooperative with us on this. And as well, our corporation counsel, Peter Conrad. We found out about a month and a half ago that there's challenges in the state of Wisconsin to live county board meetings that are not using closed captioning in their broadcasts. I know it sounds like the city of Green Bay kind of runs the TV programs through the Fox Valley, or the cable access, so affecting Outagamie, Winnebago counties, the villages, and the cities of Appleton, Neenah, and Fox Point. So I'm in consultation with Peter, and right now we're still we're still investigating some things, but the tube or to shut down the thing entirely, because even though I'm a big fan of American, with American Disabilities Act, I think in this case, it might be hurting more people than helping people, but we're still working through that. I got some other information. I'll be sending it out shortly to the rest of the board. I guess one of my goals is this weekend early next week is the Wisconsin County Association Conference down in the Dells. I want to talk to as many other counties as possible, see what they're attempting to do and what they're changing. I know with the city of Manitowoc, we have the Granicus program, which essentially everything's electronic. We are working on a programming for that. So there are changes. So ultimately, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to say we're going to break the bank, because I don't want to go that route either, but I do want to see the county board meetings broadcast live, or in a sense, at least being recorded. So hopefully we can come to an agreement, and like I said, we'll be working on that. Does anybody else have any questions on that, or even the budget for that matter? And just a reminder, I was going to do it before too. October 8th will be our first budget meeting, or our first county board meeting of October. That was when the County Executive Ziegelbauer will present his proposed budget to the county board. And then we'll have our annual meeting at the end of the month, but just 6:30, October, Tuesday in here. So if there are no questions, we'll continue on. Thank you very much, everybody.
My name,
Yes.
Joseph DeWark, 11200 County Trunk R, Whitelaw, Wisconsin. I would like to thank the Manitowoc County Highway Department for the fine job they've done in cutting the roadsides on the County Trunk R and K, and this preventing the spreading of weeds and making the roadside look really good. It also helps in cars from deer crossing the road and they are being hit by them. The driver, I have to compliment the driver, whoever's on that mower cutting the grass, must be an excellent operator because he has sure done a wonderful job in the areas where the telephone poles and awful steep ditches. Now, I also would like to see if the weeds could be cut probably about 2 weeks sooner than they are because a lot of them go to seed before they are being harvested or cut. I also want to thank the towns of Manitowoc County for also doing a great job in keeping the county roads cut and making the farmlands really, really nice in Manitowoc County. I want to also kind of mention, I've been on this county board about 40 years ago, and the only person I really know here is Mr. Bob Siegebauer. Thank you, Bob. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Is there anybody else wishing to speak this evening to the board? Anyone else wishing to speak? Yes, Maura.
Chip Yost, Centerville. At the last county board meeting, I asked you to support a county-wide half-penny sales tax. Tonight, I will explain why that is necessary for our county's financial well-being, for our community's economic stability and growth. Before doing that, I counter one of County Executive Ziegelbauer's points of opposition to the half-penny sales tax. He said, there's no need to tax $5.3 million every year from the people of Manitowoc County, the people who earned it year after year. That's an appealing sentiment. It's easy to buy into because no one wants to pay higher taxes. But even Moody's warned that a rating upgrade would depend on an increase in operating reserves and that a downgrade would result from a decrease in the operating reserves or more borrowing. Simply stated, the county needs more revenue. The proof of that is that the county's habitual borrowing to balance its budget. While some people claim that TEA stands for taxed enough already, one of the Tea Party objectives is fiscal conservatism. Yet our federal deficit at this fiscal year's end is predicted to be $1 trillion. According to the Congressional Budget Office, quote, at the end of 2029, debt is projected to reach a higher level than it has at any point since just after World War II. Facing those financial odds, how do we best protect our county's financial well-being? We do it by paying as we go. It's the cheapest way for the county to raise necessary revenue because it affects all who enter and live in our communities and is much cheaper than habitually borrowing money over years and paying interest. Reasons that our county needs a half-penny sales tax include that much of our county's land is agricultural, which is taxed at the lowest rate, state reductions to counties in both base payments and transportation aid, the inflation rate of 29% since 2006, and reduced average investment yields. In 2006, when County Executive Ziegelbauer took office, we owed $28 million in principal. Now we owe $29 million in principal after having exported more than 13 million taxpayer dollars in interest.
Maura, you have about a minute.
Thank you. We now owe $39 million in principal and interest through 2036, 15 years from now. At a time of fiscal uncertainty as we have today, when we can foresee that it will last over the next decade, it is more important than ever that our county avoid more habitual borrowing to balance its budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Is there anybody else wishing to speak this evening? Anyone else wishing to speak? And for a third and final time, see none, I'll declare public comment closed. Communications, or in this case, communication is shown on the agenda. Our unfinished business, as you see, I've taken off the resolution that we were going to vote on today. Supervisor Giroux will talk about that during his public works report. There are no appointments by the county executives, so we'll jump right into committee reports. We'll start off with Aging and Disability Resource Center Board. Supervisor Wagner is the chair.
Thank you, Chairman Bryan. The ADRC of the Lakeshore next meeting will be September 24th, next week, Tuesday, starting at 10 a.m. with the Commission on Aging and ADRC following at 10:45. The meeting will be held in Manitowoc County in this building, the Heritage Center. That's the end of my report.
Any questions for Supervisor Wagner? Thank you very much. Board of Health, Supervisor Metzger is the chair.
We met September 12th. The health officer report was communicable disease report. Mary shared the August disease report, which included chlamydia, Lyme's disease as the most top reported diseases. The budget update, the nurse manager will be in the 2020 budget as the public health nurse resigns because she will be retiring. An electronic medical record system is an outlay budget item for 2020 as the current state supported system will be terminated as we don't know what date that will be, but we want to get that in place. The WIC director report, the caseload for July was 1,004 participants, 583 families. The initial caseload for August is 1,009 participants and 589 families. The contract caseload is 1,106. Paulette is also in the process of completing the vendor trainings and renewing their contracts, as this needs to be updated every 3 years. The 3-year average for WIC check redemption for all grocery stores in Manitowoc County is $720,000 per year. The next meeting will be October 10th at 5 p.m. That is the end of my report.
Any questions for Supervisor Metzger? Thank you very much. Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, Supervisor Falkowski is our representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening. The meeting of the Manitowoc County Criminal Justice Coordinating Council was September 4th. An update regarding the CJCC activities was presented and distributed to you via email as a PowerPoint presentation. This was an official 2-year report. The West Foundation awarded the grant, which will be used to obtain case management software. Briefly, drug court snippet. Currently, there are 9 males and 9 females participating in the court, averaging an age of 30 years old. There's been 4 terminations during this first 2-year period. Of the 11 grads, 6 have remained clean and sober. 4 have had a relapse and another may have, but none have been new arrests. The diversion program has had 6 graduates, and as you review the PowerPoint, you will read corresponding metrics about the offset fiscally within the context of this program. There was some discussion about the impressions of successes. There is an acknowledgement that the additional data as the program continues will shed light on the efficacy of this program. However, the longevity and effectiveness should be determined as if the program continues. The topics regarding the difficulties of enforcing an injunction was discussed briefly at this meeting. The drug court has an annual appreciation picnic, which you've all have also had been sent invitations, and it's September 21st at the Lincoln Park. There was also emails sent about information about a public forum on mental health courts. Our next meeting date will be November 6th. Thank you, and that is my report, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Supervisor Falkowski? Thank you very much. Executive committee, I know I mentioned last month I wanted to meet, but generally, and I've been in consultation with Peter regarding this too. It's regarding the opioid litigation that's going on at the state or more in the sense of the national level. Basically, I guess we're just in there's a holding pattern right now. I know you've seen Big Pharma. Purdue has filed for bankruptcy, and a lot of it's just going to come down to whether we participate in things. But I'll keep in consultation with Peter and deciding where we need to go with that and stuff as well. Certainly want to keep you informed. We do have one other discussion item, I guess, regarding donations. So maybe we'll try to get one in there, maybe the night of the next county board meeting as well. And I also wanted to mention, I'm sure all of you got your emails stated, but especially going out to the veterans, not only on the county board, but also in Manitowoc County government. Ashley Smits, our system administrator from Information Systems, sent out on an email encouraging all our county employees and including the supervisors, if you obviously served in the service, to submit a picture of yourself and some other information and want to put it on the county's website this year in honor of Veterans Day. So I think that'd be great. So if any of you would do that, it'd be great. If you need some help with that, don't be afraid to ask. I'll gladly be able to help, and other people will be able to help as well. She will be able to accept scanned pictures too. They can scan them and then return the photos if you have them like that too. So I know for like in Supervisor Dizak's case from World War I, yet still it's a long. He knows I'm teasing. I mean, he's a good man. He can handle stuff like that. But definitely thank you all for your service. So here, this is great recognition for not only our employees, but our county board supervisors as well. Any questions or comments for that? Thank you very much. Expo Ice Center Board, Supervisor Gauger is our representative there.
Thank you, Chairman Brian. The fair was August 21st through the 25th, and we had daily meetings to review any issues or concerns that there were. We reviewed our activities that we had going on for them days. We had liaison reports and sign-ups. So we had all of our key activities covered with personnel, so everything would go smooth and safe. We had some daily judging. We won't know exactly what the number is until the comptroller. But I would like to thank everybody from that expo board and the volunteers for the work that they put on during that fair to make it as successful as it was. And that'll conclude my report.
Any questions for Supervisor Gauger? Thank you very much. And I must concur with your comments. I mentioned at Public Works as well last week. Janelle Shelton, our manager out at Expo, the Expo board, the other volunteers, Jerry Noiser in the Public Works Department, and all those involved, excellent job once again. And I don't think you can get a better deal for $10 for going to county fairs this year. And as mentioned by Janelle, I went to the Waukesha County Fair this year for a concert, and I found it interesting, from a bigger population base. And granted, there's a lot of things to do in the Milwaukee/Waukesha area. But usually, too, with a price of a concert ticket, you get the price of the admission. No, it was the concert ticket, $10 to get in, $5 to park. And what I found interesting was after the concert was over, walking down the Midway, I swear that there was more people on our Midway than there was in that bigger county. So excellent job to everybody involved, and it's worked out well. I did talk with Supervisor Kavanaugh a little bit, another member of the board. The one that concerned, I guess everybody was concerned about parking. That worked out very well as well. So great job, and look forward to next year again. Any other questions, comments? All right. Finance Committee, Supervisor Williams will be giving a report this evening.
First off, a question, Mr. Chairman. Would those be pictures of how we looked back in the day or currently?
I guess it'd be cool if you have one in your uniform. That'd probably be great.
I could wear one on half my body. So Navy guys that stay in shape. Anyway, the finance company met on September 9th. Chairman Hansen was not there. Fortunately, it was a very routine meeting, went fast. We got an update on the jail population. It's not decreasing by any stretch of the imagination. And we paid our bills. And the next meeting will be on October, what did I come up with? 7th, I believe. So
That's
ends
correct.
the report.
Any questions for Supervisor Williams? Thank you very much. Highway Committee, Supervisor Banks, Chair.
Mr. Chairman, we did not meet in September. We probably will meet the second Tuesday of October, save a little bit of mileage, the 8th.
Thank you very much. Human Services Board, Supervisor Henriksen is the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met August 22nd at 4 o'clock for our budget hearing and the public input on our budget hearing. We had one person come to talk, and that was Miss. They're getting together with a judge out of Green Bay, and basically what they want to do is they want to try and get a mental health court going in Manitowoc County, kind of like a drug court. Basically what this does is it will have an outside person monitor the people, see, basically get them a hand up that they can basically say, hey, that we can get them some help. Now, one gentleman that they graduated from their court said, now the police are my friend. They're not the people coming to come arrest me. So, I mean, basically what it is, trying to understand people with the mental health problems. And right after that, we went into our Human Services Board meeting. And an update on opioid grants and uses. Lori Fuhr described the opioid grants Human Service Department received as well as additional state funding. The state opioid response grant awarded $145,138 to serve 20 new clients from March 1st to September 29, 2019. So far, we've been able to serve 31 people at a cost of $58,822. This grant has funded 11 residential placements and provided 6 Vivitrol injections, which includes the psychiatrist's time to prescribe and RN to administer. All clients receive case management services. The NANIME medically assisted treatment grant paid for services provided in the jail. Total clients served was 22 and 13 Vivitrol injections were administered. There were 12 injections administered in the community. We were awarded an additional $16,771 in the supplemental health block grant for 2019 and $33,542 for 2020. We were awarded additional $63,246 in supplemental substance abuse block grants for the period of October 1st, 2019 through 9/30/2020. The finances continue to project a deficit from budgeted figures. One child has been placed in a residential care center for a 90 program for a high daily rate that was not budgeted. The director's report basically requested authorization for a new position for a medically assisted treatment grant that will be a jail counselor case manager. The position will be located in the Sheriff's Department jail, will be supervised by the Human Services Department. It will be funded 50% by the NANIME Act grant and 50% by the Sheriff's Department. Our next regular meeting of the Human Services Department will be held on Thursday, September 26th at 4:45. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Supervisor Henriksen? Thank you very much. Land Conservation Committee, UW Extension, Education, Agricultural Committee, Supervisor Wagner is the chair.
Thank you, Chairman Bryan. The Land Conservation Committee will have a meeting this week, Thursday, September 19th at 4:45 at the County Office Complex. The UW Extension, Education, and Agriculture Committee will be meeting next month, October 17th at 4:45 at the County Office Complex also. That's the end of my report.
Any questions for Supervisor Wagner? Thank you very much. Personnel Committee, Supervisor, excuse me, Supervisor Marish is the chair.
Thank you. Health and dental plan performance was reviewed. Rates will remain the same for both plans for 2020. The health plan rates have been unchanged since 2015, and the dental plan rates have been unchanged since 2014. We approved the implementation of the cost-effective program for prescription medication, which will be effective January 1st. We also approved the implementation of incentives for bundled services offered through Holy Family Memorial, also effective January 1st. We approved the addition of generic testing required for determination of treatment. And we also approved the addition of additional units of physical, speech, and occupational therapy as deemed to be necessary effective January 1st. And I bring forth two resolutions. Resolution authorizing addition of a 1.0 full-time equivalent human services employee. I so move.
So motion by Supervisor Marsh, second by Supervisor Henriksen to approve the resolution. Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution authorizing addition of one full-time equivalent human services employee.
Resolution passes 23-0.
And I have a resolution authorizing implementation, I got that, I could pronounce that correct this time, of 12-hour shifts for correction officers and jail supervisors. I so move.
So motion by Supervisor Marsh, second by Supervisor Banky. Discussion on the motion? Oh, Supervisor Metzger.
In committee, I did not support this. I'm concerned about replacing the 12-hour shift when someone calls in sick. I was told that then they would be mandating somebody to come in on their day off. But since then, I have spoke with someone that worked there in the corrections officers, and I guess they are excited to see this go through. So I am going to be changing my vote to yes, and we'll see how the year goes. And then I was told that we review it at the end of the year. So I guess I'd like to see how that turns out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Metzger. Any other discussion on the motion? Supervisor Vogel.
The sheriff is still here, Mr. Chair. Could we ask him to come up and just explain a little bit, please?
Sure, no problem. If there's no objection, Sheriff, please come on up. That would be great.
Greetings. Training. So at times we're running into situations where people are getting forced in from their 8-hour shift, 12-hour shifts right now where they currently work a 6-day on, 3-day off rotation. What this 12-hour shift proposal does is moves them from a 6 on, 3 days off rotation where they're scheduled of hours that they're working, but reduces the amount of days there. So theoretically, what we're going to be doing is going from 9 rotations down to 4. So actually compressing our staff down. So it's actually going to increase our number of staff that we actually have from 13 weekends off a year to 26 full weekends off a year, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What's going to end up happening with that, though, is about a $99,000 increase because there's 90 extra hours per employee. So what that averages out to be is about 78.5 hours per pay period, which currently they're working right now is 75. Going to be a little bit of an increase there, a little bit more hours that they're going to be working, but they're actually going to be getting between 70 to 60 more days off, so an extra 2 months off without taking any allotted time off.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for that explanation. Can you stay up here a little bit, Sheriff, in case there's other questions, but I'll go back to Supervisor Mink. You were next on the list.
got all the questions answered, sir.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for the sheriff, or I guess the discussion on this entire resolution? Supervisor Dizak.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have some experience running from our shift, many industries and professions required to work around the clock have gone to the 12-hour shift. And a lot of numbers that the sheriff just spit out, all the information that was there. But the bottom line is, it's been shown through many industries that are working the back shifts and have to, rotate, whether you're rotating or whether you're working a fixed shift. It does really increase their quality of life, and it's been very well accepted in a lot of other cases. So I greatly support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Dizak. Any other discussion on, Supervisor Bowman?
Yeah, Sheriff, I think you need to explain that they're going to be working instead of 6 days straight, they're going to be working 3 and 2, I believe you said.
The most days that, it's what's called a pitman schedule or a Coast Guard schedule. They work 2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off. So the most days that they would end up working in a row would be 3.
And that definitely, after having worked in the jails for 8 years myself, will be a blessing.
I met with probably 80% of the employees individually. I had 4 department-wide meetings, try to hit every shift as possible, allowed for as much input as we could, and I'd say probably a good 90% of the employees are in favor of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Bowman. Any other questions for the sheriff or actually on the resolution as well? Thank you very much, Sheriff. So with that, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Super on the resolution authorizing implementation of 12-hour shifts for corrections officers and jail supervisors.
Resolution passes 23-0. Anything else, Supervisor Marsh?
No, other than our next meeting is October 1st at 4:15. And that would end my report. Thank
Any
you.
Questions for Supervisor Marsh? Thank you very much. Planning and Park Commission, Supervisor Dizak is the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We did not meet in August. Our next meeting will be September 23rd with the 3:30 advisory and a 4 o'clock regular at the County Expo office and review. That's all I have. Thanks.
Any questions for Supervisor Dizak? Thank you very much. Public Safety Committee, Supervisor Vogel is the chair.
Mr. Chair, we met right before this meeting tonight. From that meeting, I bring you resolution number 3, accepting donations for the Manitowoc County Sheriff's K-9 unit. Shipbuilders Credit Union has donated $1,000 and A&W Restaurant has donated an additional $600 to defer expenses and purchase equipment for the K-9 unit. I so move.
So motion by Supervisor Vogel, second by Supervisor Henriksen. Discussion on the motion. Supervisor Williams.
My finger hit the wrong, I was trying to second it.
Okay. Well, your mic's on, you can certainly say something. You usually have something to say.
I normally do. I'm still thinking about which picture to use.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Williams. Any other discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution accepting donations for Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office K-9 unit.
Resolution passes 20.
Thank you, supervisors. The next meeting, during the meeting that we had, I listed October 9th for the next meeting for the public.
But the governor announced today that there'll be many, I guess, assistant district attorneys being furnished across the state of Wisconsin. And Manitowoc finally, after years and years, has finally gotten another assistant district attorney. So thank you very much, Governor and the legislature for doing that. There'll be some remodeling and some moving in the courthouse, I guess, for some offices. Myself and the county executive will be moving offices. We'll certainly let you know where we're going after we get all settled. But so there is room. Again, just credit again, once again, to Jerry and his staff about organizing. It's amazing what they can do with that older building and still keep the integrity of what it was there. So anything else? No questions? All right, we'll move along. Public Works Committee, Supervisor Droll is the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Public Works met on September 11th. We discussed the solid waste and recycling division. We unanimously approved compost for the TR Community Garden Project. And we discussed the Woodland Compost site potential purchase. The compost site out on Woodland Dunes came up for sale at a reasonable price, and as we've been looking for a number of years for a spot and had not found it, and have been leasing this for all these years, we and the City of Two Rivers thought that this was a great opportunity. And the committee approved a resolution that I will introduce shortly to buy this property for $65,000. We discussed the Buildings and Grounds division. We had a couple of pay requests for capital projects, and the Hecker and Vebon property, which we've been talking about. Jerry Noiser and Chairman Bry and the mayor and the city attorney Kathleen McDaniel and myself and our attorney Peter Conrad met. The city wants to buy that land, and they would like some time to do their due diligence. It would be for the appraised price. We're working out the details as far as that all goes. It would likely probably not happen until next year. Now, my understanding is the city council is behind this, and so we thought for the good of everybody, it would be good if that works out and that there's more industrial development up there, jobs and all of that. So we agreed to remove the resolution and let the discussion continue between Peter and Attorney McDaniels, and that's why the resolution was withdrawn. So, we discussed the communications division, the information services, and the capital projects going on there. We talked about the fair, which we all agree was a great fair this year. Weather cooperated, nice crowds. Everybody is very happy about that. And we talked about future projects. We're nearing the completion of all the projects that we had intended to do out there over the next couple of years. Things will be pretty much done, and thanks to the sale to the Meyer folks, and there'll be substantial money left over to ensure long and health. So we're very pleased about that. And now I would introduce a resolution 2019 authorizing implementation or approving the 2031 approving the purchase of the Two Rivers compost site property from June Posh for $65,000. I so move.
Motion by Supervisor Droll, second by Supervisor Hoffman. Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution approving the purchase of the Two Rivers compost site property from June Paschal for $65,000.
Resolution. That's all right. Vote's still counted, so that's all right. Worked out all right. So the resolution passed 23-0. Supervisor Droll, anything else?
No, that concludes my report, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Any questions for Supervisor Droll? Thank you very much. Transportation Coordinating Committee, Supervisor Ballman is our chair.
And no report this month, Mr. Chairman.
Any
Thank you.
questions for Supervisor Ballman? Announcements, just a reminder, our next county board will be 2 county board meetings in October. First will be Tuesday, October 8th, 6:30 PM here. The county executive will present his proposed 2020 budget. And then the annual meeting of the county board and also public comment on the proposed budget will be Tuesday, October 29th at 6:30 PM in this room. Supervisor Giroux.
I mean, just an aside here. I happened to be in Two Rivers the day that the wall left the armory in Two Rivers to go to the expo center, and to see all of the motorcycles and just everybody standing at attention as this went by. I mean, it really, really restored your faith in what people feel is important. And I stopped out at the fair a couple times just to see the people out there. And it was, I hope if you had an opportunity that you went out there, because it was really something to see. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Giroux. Wholeheartedly concur. Any other questions or comments? Other than that, a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry, Supervisor Metzger, you were first quickly.
You had said the next meeting was the 29th of
No,
October?
the next,
for
the
no,
next, there's 2 county
The
board.
28th, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, did I say the 29th? I apologize.
I think so.
I'm sorry. Well, it's a Monday, yes. Yes, it's the Monday. I'm
It's
sorry.
the 28th.
Yes, Monday.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
sorry. Thank you for correcting that, and thank you, Jessica. So motion by Supervisor Niles, seconded by Supervisor Dizak to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Opposed, we are adjourned.